Good evening, everyone. You are once again welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening, Consciousness. So, the long-awaited moment has finally arrived. Yes, the negotiations, the talks for negotiations towards the advent of peace in Ukraine have started. Or at least I was going to say, will start tomorrow, March 11, 2025, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. At the moment we are speaking on March 10, 2024, the delegations from different concerned countries are already present on site. Unlike what we saw previously, where Russia was present, as well as the American delegation, this time, this is as Volodymyr Zelensky wants, as he has always wished. He has always wanted to first have discussions with the Americans as well as the Europeans, and finally impose on Russia the results of their discussions. So that was his intention. But given what happened at the White House, the humiliation he was subjected to, he was, well. So this time, Zelensky wants to ease the tensions. He is calming his own heart, and he is trying to calm the hearts of the Americans so that they do not withdraw. Because after his act at the White House, he saw the consequences. We have talked a lot about it. The intelligence, the Americans have stopped sharing intelligence. The F-16s are no longer operational. They have deactivated the enhanced system. And America is preparing for something else. So Zelensky does not want that. So he himself has anticipated. He is starting to make communications aimed at reducing tensions. But already, Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, tasked with leading the delegation, is already in Jeddah on Monday, March 10th, 2025. He will stay there until Wednesday. It should also be noted that Volodymyr Zelensky is expected in Jeddah on March 10th. He will be there, but he says he will not participate in the negotiations or talks, but he may return later. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this video conference, we will be discussing this hot and burning current event. But I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Yes, I always insist. I like this part because it allows me to catch my breath so I can better break down this news for you. And it allows me to remind everyone to share the video conference. It motivates. It gives visibility to the video conference. That's it. And so, for all those who are not subscribed, if this is your first time coming across my video, you should subscribe. There you go. So let's dive deeper. Firstly, Zelensky doesn't want to be blamed for not wearing a suit. There is no law that requires him to be a Ukrainian military uniform. Every time, but as a good comedian, as an actor, don't take the word comedian in a pejorative sense. As a good actor, he wants to play the role. He is a war leader. His country is at war. There, it's understandable. He is always in uniform. But except with the Americans, it doesn't work. The Americans consider it a lack of respect towards their state, their country. So that's how it is. Zelensky, learning from what happened at the White House to wear a suit, and then the harshness of the exchanges now, he prefers to delegate people like President Donald Trump delegates people. He also delegates his trusted men, and his trusted men have already arrived. It is with his trusted men that the American delegation will exchange. So those who come out of it will report back to him. And then they will decide together to validate. But what remains clear is that Zelensky no longer has a choice. He himself made a statement earlier. He is someone who wants peace. And the proposals we saw yesterday, those are the proposals that will be presented in Jeddah tomorrow. We will quickly come back to this. So, what's happening? Zelensky says he wants peace. On the eve of talks with the United States, he says he wants peace. So, Ukraine wants peace, and Russia is the only reason the war continues. Here's what he stated. That is to say, he says that Ukraine wants peace, but he continues to criticize Russia. Okay, no problem. So, he says this. He says that Ukraine has been seeking peace since the very first second of the war. And we have always said that the only reason the war continues is Russia. So that means he is leaving ready for peace. The ball would then be in Russia's court if we believe these statements. We will see. But on the other side, what's happening? Ukraine, in Jeddah, the envoys of Zelensky are going to propose a truce. They are going to propose a truce. That is to say, we come back to this again, what he had rejected from the side of the United States of America is what he accepts. It is with this proposal that he goes, you remember, he had said that he does not want a ceasefire. He wants a definitive agreement. Trump told him, you don't have a card in hand, you cannot obtain a definitive agreement. Before obtaining the definitive agreement, you must first have a ceasefire. And so he himself, who had refused, he endeavored to draft with his team a ceasefire proposal. And so, according to the information, the Ukrainian delegation will propose a truce in the air, as we had seen, a truce in the air, so that we stop the drone bombings, etc., the fighter jets. A truce at sea with Russia. So, they will propose this during the negotiations this Tuesday in Saudi Arabia. It must be said that this Tuesday is a decisive turning point. If Ukraine misses this, it will be something else. There you go. So, tomorrow is a highly anticipated day. He says this. We have a proposal for a truce in the air and a truce at sea, because these are ceasefire options that are easy to implement and monitor. And it is possible to start with them. So, they are going with the idea of directly entering into a ceasefire. So, here is what is on the horizon. At the moment we speak, the different delegations are already in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. We are very hopeful that it will go well. Whatever happens, we will continue to follow this news. Whatever results, we will come back to discuss it here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. Thank you for sharing the video conference as much as possible. I will get back to you. It was the voice of your one and only samurai.